everybody, and welcome to another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Well, friends, leadership. Leadership is going where the action is, and many, many times, company founders will tell you in successful companies that their original vision isn't where they wound up. And certainly that is the case today with John Prineas, Chairman of St. George Mining, because St. George has truly pivoted and transformed itself into a niobium and rare earth Brazilian company over the last 12 months. And we're going to talk all about it today, and most importantly, what we should expect in the future. And with that introduction, John, welcome.
Thank you, Greg.
Hey, John, as I mentioned, and let's get right into it, Brazilian rare earth niobium, your Araxa project. Talk to us about it, please.
We're very lucky to have picked up this asset. We are very much believers in the future-facing commodities. We have been an explorer for nickel and lithium in Western Australia, both commodities terribly out of favour and really just exploration assets. We wanted to find an advanced asset with really no exploration risk and in commodities with a really sound, solid foundation, not going to have that same volatility as nickel and lithium. We found that with the Araxa project in Brazil. High-grade niobium and rare earths already proven with lots of drilling over the years. So we know there's really no exploration risk. There was a 2013 PEA NI 43-101 compliant with a very significant resource. So we knew there was something economic there already. So it was a great opportunity to pick up something which is going to be a company maker for us.
Right. And speaking of grades there, we look at 0.68 niobium, 4.13 trio. Just tell us what those numbers mean for people that may not be as familiar.
Yeah, so those numbers you've rattled off are the overall grade for the total resource we just announced.
Yeah.
So we've already announced a JORC compliant resource, much bigger than the historic resource that the previous owner had, 41 million tonnes at 0.68% niobium, and about 41 million tonnes at 4.13% TREO. So both, we think, economic volumes and certainly economic grades. In the rare earth space, the total resource grade is just a little bit higher than Lynas Corporation, which is one of the most successful producing rare earths miners in the world. Obviously, our own Western Australian successful project there. So the quality of the rare earth mineralization looks very, very good. In terms of niobium, the 0.68 is the total grade for the project resource, but the measured and indicated portion is all the way up to about 1.2%, which shows you the higher grades that can be achievable. So we think we've already got economic grade, economic volume. We will be drilling soon. I think we'll be proving up a much, much bigger resource. I think we'll be getting over 100 million tonnes in eventually, and certainly enough grade there to have a long lifetime.
Right. And John, drilling that you just mentioned, can you just give us an estimate of the timing of that drilling?
Yeah, we've got the drillers all lined up. We're just waiting on one final approval to get our boots on the ground. So it's imminent, hopefully within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Only 10% of the tenement area has been drilled out effectively, so there's huge scope to increase the resource and also to convert inferred resources to measured and indicated. So, yeah, it's going to be a very exciting drill campaign once we get going.
Right. And again, to just get the detail on the timing, so if we get the drilling started in 2 weeks or so, would the results of that drilling be out in circa 6 to 8 weeks from now?
Yeah, so the whole drill campaign is probably going to be a 2-month campaign. We originally were hoping for 5,000 metres, but I think we've already increased it to about 9,000 metres.
Okay.
We're excited by the potential there. Our resource geologist that came up with the maiden JORC resource told us, drill here. You'll get a much bigger resource. So we're just champing at the bit to get going. So we're submitting samples to the lab progressively and getting assays progressively. So probably 2 to 3 weeks in, we'll start to submit assays, and we should have results in about 4 weeks. So yeah, probably 6-week rolling time frame, we'll start getting results.
Wow. Okay, so now this is extremely exciting. You have high grades, large tonnage already, probably going to expand. Also, John, talk to us about the infrastructure nearby, and especially some of the big players where you could potentially do something with them as well.
Yeah, this is one of the great advantages that we have over other producers, explorers and emerging developers. We are in the middle
You will
of
be a
a
producer.
mining district, established mining district. So we have the world's biggest niobium mine right next door to us, operated by the Brazilian CBMM. So they've been doing this for decades. So that gives us confidence that our mineralization can be converted into a commercial product, which is pretty much the same as theirs. But they've also set up all this infrastructure that we can also dovetail into. Araxa town itself is only 5 kilometres away, a very ready and willing workforce. So all the other power, electricity is in place. There's a fertilizer company on the other side of our project, Mosaic. They've also got roads and power and other infrastructure in place. So really a great opportunity to fast track this project with the low capex solution.
Right. And John, again, coming back to the management, you're a serious person and you obviously want to find projects that are economically viable and realistically can be brought into production. Is that another attraction here for you?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said earlier, we have been doing exploration in WA. We
Right.
didn't want to take on more exploration risk. We didn't want to take on too much development risk. So we see this as already an economic deposit. We'll come up with a scoping study and feasibility study to confirm that by the end of the year. The capex required, the infrastructure required to get this going is minimal. We've already got a cooperation agreement with the government of Minas Gerais, the state that we're operating in, to expedite our permitting approvals so we can get this project into operation as quickly as possible. They're very keen to see another mine up and running, creating prosperity and jobs for the community. So we've got a lot of boxes ticked already.
As you know, it takes a group of very talented people to really bring a project all the way into production. Can you just talk about the team? Because it's a lot more than just you.
Absolutely. We've moved quickly to put a high quality in-country team in place. This is extremely important. I think the quality of our asset has attracted some very, very good people. At least 4 high-level executives, ex-CBMM executives who are experienced in niobium mining have joined us. They give us a combined experience of 80 years mining experience in Araxa for niobium and rare earths. So we're hitting the ground running with a real depth of experience to deliver a result here.
Right. And John, as you know, getting these approvals and permits in place, comparing Brazil and where you are specifically in this location, just circa other areas, maybe WA, how do they compare?
That's also one of the attractions for going to Brazil, quite frankly. I think at the moment Brazil is really pro-business. They really want to get new mines up and running. You still need to do all the proper things with the environment and the heritage, but if you do that, they will get your approvals through quickly. One of the best examples is another Australian company, Latin Resources.
Right.
They did a similar cooperation agreement with the government of state at the state of Minas Gerais. They got their approvals through in 9 months instead of the usual 3 to 4 years. So that's the kind of time frame we're looking at. So it's not only just getting them done quickly, but also reliably, knowing that the government's on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, now obviously all this activity, it does cost money. Can you just tell us about the shape of the balance sheet right now?
Sure. So we raised $20 million in February to complete the acquisition of the project. A lot of that had to go straight away to the vendor as part of the stage 1 consideration payment. We've still got about $5 million, which is more than enough to pay for the drilling and the development studies that we're completing this year. So we're looking pretty healthy from that perspective. We do have another payment due to the vendor in 9 months' time, US $6 million. We're already receiving interest from end users who want to try and help us develop this project quickly, steel mills and metal traders who are keen to get another source of supply for niobium. And in the past, we've also had a lot of inquiries for rare earths, given the geopolitical environment that's emerging for the rare earths market. So we're very confident we'll be able to raise that money in due course and keep the ball rolling.
Right. And also a lot of the offtake players, and as you said, a lot of the financiers very familiar with Brazil and this area of the world, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely they are. We've got a preferred EPC contractor already. They're very, very keen to come and do the design and construction, and also to arrange the finance for any construction that we need to do. So Brazil is a very easy environment to do business in.
Right. And John, lots of very, very large players in that area. I have to ask the question, are they interested in you?
I'm sure everyone is watching us. There's
Yes.
definitely a lot of people watching us. Some people are already knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I think the further down the path to development that we take our project, the louder the knocks are going to be.
Yeah, I equate that to a biotechnology company where typically it's the biotech that takes the very early risk with the large drug companies that maybe take a later risk, so to speak, and also to help with that commercialization point. Um, John, we have to keep them short, but for every investor out there in St. George or prospective investor, what are one or 2 points you would like them to know?
Yeah. So we did choose this asset to give investors a high multiplier return on their investment in St. George. So we're determined to get that result for our investors and our shareholders. And the reason we're confident of that is we've got the most important thing when it comes to having a company make a mineral asset, and that is a high-grade resource. We've got that. We've already put our JORC resource out. We're going to drill again very soon. We're going to increase it significantly. So there's no exploration risk here. Very confident we'll have an economic resource. And the second key point is our location. Very easy to get this asset into production given its favourable location in the middle of infrastructure and a cooperative state government to help us along.
Got it. John, we very, very much look forward to the future here. We're going to be watching very carefully. Thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll have you back again.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you.